So student loans is trending all over social media right now. And there are so many young folks right now that are completely frustrated, and it's justified because all they want to know is, all I wanted to do was go to college, make my future brighter. That's what I was told to do at a young age. And tuition just seems to be completely rampant and out of control to where nobody can even afford it anymore. And those who can are so burdened by student loans and debt that their future is pretty much bleak at this point. How did we get here? Well, I'm glad you asked. So if we go to take a look at the history of student loans, probably one of the first questions you have is, why is tuition going up so much and so fast? Well, like all things, when the government tries to step in and help, and the government does a lot of good things, but also they do a lot of bad things. But on this particular approach, in 1965, they created what was called the Higher Education Act. Ultimately, what that did is it allowed everybody the opportunity to, who wanted to go to college, because if they needed a loan in order to pay for school and they didn't have the necessary means or funds at the time to do it, the government said, hey, I will subsidize the note, meaning I will guarantee the loan to the college, who will allow you to take classes and you can pay us back. And so the college was like, well, that's a good idea. I take no risk and you'll subsidize the loan for the student. Sounds like a great deal. They get to go to school, we get paid. It seems like a win-win, or is it? The only problem with that is, if you know there's no risk, well, and everybody can now go to college, there's a huge new demand for your product. Well, as you can see below me, the price of tuition on a 4-year degree way outpaced real inflation by as much as 170%. So as you can see on the chart below me, this is the average annual tuition and fees for a public 4-year institution. And starting right here in 1965, it's been nothing but up ever since the government jumped in and said, we're here to help, let us subsidize the loans. So where do we go from here? What are we supposed to do? I will just say this, if the government simply got out of the way and let free markets do what it does best, which is create efficiency, both the student and the college will recognize both the pros and cons of a degree. Because we all know you don't need a degree to be successful. But if you want to do the degree, it needs to be fairly priced and pay out what it should pay the student and what they can reasonably expect in the future for potential earnings in the career path, that the skills that they'll take on from that curriculum. So in closing, if the schools did not have subsidized loans and they had to bear that burden of risk by originating that loan to the student who's taking it out for college, and they were to default, well, that would fall on their ledger. So by assuming that risk, I think colleges would limit the amount of loans they provide its students, and with less loans available, well, demand would naturally drop, and with demand dropping, therefore prices would come down with it. That is really the only way to get skyrocketing tuition down, is we have to have the government, unfortunately, stop subsidizing and backing these loans, because it's a guaranteed money press for these colleges. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.